Well, hi again, hockey fans. Ben Holden here. This week's edition of CCHA Now, number 5, and welcome to the month of December. And certainly last weekend, teams trying to avoid the split, well, only one team did it. That was the Michigan Wolverines, as they ended up winning the shootout and tying the Ferris State Bulldogs. Aside from that, every other series a sweep. Miami swept in Alaska. Notre Dame swept at home against Lake State. Ohio State swept on the road against Michigan State. And Western Michigan, they swept Northern Michigan on home ice. As we always do here on CCHA Now, let's get to our top 10 plays of the week. And for that, without further ado, here we go. Play number 10. There was a loud bark coming from the dog pound in Big Rapids on Friday. Ferris State hosting Michigan. 5 different Bulldogs scored. Eric Alexander with a sweet tip on the backhand of the power play. His first game back after missing the last 5. His hands are just fine. Ferris State won 5-0. On to Kalamazoo for play number 9, Western Michigan. They came up with some clever ways to score on the power play. Dennis Brown at the right point fakes it, then sends it across for the one-time rip from freshman Kenny Morrison. That was a power play talent, a 4-2 Bronco win. Down to South Bend for play number 8, Lakers and the Irish. Nick McParland, the shot block, and then the pass to spring Dominic Bernardo, who dashes up the left wing and fires home a nice goal down low for Lake Superior State. A couple of gritty efforts from them down in South Bend. Back to Big Rapids for play number 7. It comes courtesy of Cool Hand Luke. Luke Moffitt of Michigan. Watch the Deeks, and then Moffitt goes up top for the shootout winner on Saturday night. Game ended in a 3-3 tie. Play number 6 takes us to East Lansing. Saturday night, MSU and Ohio State, and Chris Forfar, known for his rugged play, but here he does something no other Spartan could do all weekend. He scored on Ohio State goalie Brady Jelly. More from Jelly and the Buckeyes later in the show. And speaking of the Spartans, though, we caught up with forward Kevin Walrod before the game on Saturday, and we talked with him about his pre- and post-game rituals.
I like to keep it really simple. I always get a coffee before the game, and we take the same route to the rink in the same truck with my roommates Anthony Hayes, Chris Forfar, and Matt Grassi. In a win, I'm always the guy who turns on the win song, which is we change it up a little bit depending on our win streak. I think the guys like to get really happy and dance.
Time to move on now to our CCHA Rewind. And 2 teams that are playing this coming weekend, the Michigan State Spartans and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, they are the focus of this week's Rewind. We go back to mid-January of 2008, a game down at the Joyce Center that featured Jeff Lurg, Justin Abdelkader, Ryan Thang, and Eric Condra, just to name a few. An intense game between these 2 longtime rivals. Here's a sneak peek.
Nice move, deep to the front shot, oh, just over the top of a wide open net. Turn the other way as Christian Hansen works it over the line. This shot is on, and Lurg the save. They can get it tied. Puck played around, near side. Van Gilder keeps momentarily. Blatchford, shot score!
Well, let's shift our attention now to our profile this week, and it features a former Notre Damer, young man Eric Condra from that hockey hotbed of Livonia, Michigan. From the day he stepped foot on the Notre Dame campus, he was an outstanding all-around player. He took his game from Notre Dame to the American Hockey League, and prior to the NHL lockout, he was a regular with the Ottawa Senators, and it started for him at Notre Dame.
Eric Condra, second of the period. 4-0 Irish.
Every level you take a step up, it gets more and more intense and better players, and you don't realize how high that step is until you get to the NHL with the speed and the skill of guys and the strength of the skilled guys are some of the most powerful guys out there in the NHL.
And coming up on Friday, you can see the full version of our CCHA profile with Eric Condra. Time now to shift our attention to the guys that are getting it done in the CCHA. It's our Players of the Week from this past weekend. A lot of tough choices, but the staff, as always, they do a great job of making the right choices. And we start with our post-game Offensive Player of the Week. Austin Czarnik for Miami. The sophomore scored a goal and added 4 helpers as Miami swept Alaska. Our Gladiator Defenseman of the Week, Matthew Cato. Miami freshman Cato had an assist in each of Miami's 2 wins at Alaska and finished the weekend +2, and he had 6 blocks. And he was a major part of a PK unit for Miami that was 15 for 15 on the weekend. Our goaltender of the week for the 2nd straight week, it's Brady Jelly from Ohio State. He stopped 31 shots and shut out MSU 1-0 Friday. He made 22 saves in a 3-0 win over Michigan State on Saturday, and he finished the weekend with a .50 goals against average and a .981 save percentage. And the Gong Show Rookie of the Week this week is Notre Dame freshman forward Mario Lucia. He had 3 goals in Notre Dame's weekend sweep of Lake Superior. He had 1 goal in the 3-2 win on Friday and scored twice in the 6-1 victory over the Lakers on Saturday nights. Well, time now to look at this week's USCHO.com Top 20. The Miami Redhawks, they are representing the CCHA, the highest-ranked team, up 1 from number 4 to number 3 this week. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish just a spot behind them. They're at number 5, up 1 from number 6 last week. Western Michigan, they make the biggest jump of the weekend among the CCHA teams, up to number 7 from number 10. And Ferris State moves up 1 to number 16 after their weekend series with Michigan. Ohio State, they're close to getting in. They're receiving votes in this week's poll. As for the CCHA schedule this week, coming up on Friday, Michigan State down at Notre Dame, 7:05 on NBC Sports Network. Bowling Green makes the trip up to Alaska. Ferris State at Western Michigan. Lake State at Miami. That's a 7:35 start time in that one. Robert Morris will be in Columbus to take on the Buckeyes. On Saturday, Michigan State, Notre Dame, they go at 7:05. That's on Comcast Television. And the schedule the same, except the change in that Miami series. They go at 7:05 there. And the other change, Ohio State will play at Robert Morris coming up on Saturday nights. Time now to shift our attention to this week's Celebrate the Legacy moment, as we do each and every week here on CCHA Now. And this week, a very entertaining and interesting story that comes courtesy of former Alaska player, assistant, and head coach Tavis McMillan. Tavis McMillan now in the NHL, at least working with the Winnipeg Jets as a scout. He's been doing that since he left the head coaching spot at Alaska some years ago. He tells a great story here of former Nanooks head coach Guy Godowski, and it involves carrying some hockey bags. Take a look.
And the biggest eye-opener for me was the very first road trip we went on. You know, we got to get off the plane, we got to go load up the bus, and then we got to drive over. And I forget what rink we were at, but the guys are getting off the bus, and they're watching because they're not sure. It's kind of early with Godowski. The players, they know me, but they don't know him. And the first thing he gets off the bus is he straps on about 3 bags on his shoulders and starts walking bags into the rink. And all the players, I remember, on the bus just stopped and everybody was watching him. And all of a sudden, guys started scrambling for bags. Even the older, the upperclassmen are grabbing stick bags and captains. And I said, okay, we got it. This is going to work.
Hey, hockey fans, we are in search of former Mason Cup champions, and you can help us out by going to ccha.com. There's all kinds of great information there. And we want to let you know that this week, Celebrate the Legacy Team of the Week, the 2011 Miami Redhawks. They were led by Andy Mealy, the Hobie Baker winner, Carter Camper, just to name a few. The Redhawks beat Western Michigan 5-2 to claim the CCHA Tournament Championship that year down at Joe Louis. Well, we get more people in the arenas coming up to us saying, hey, why wasn't our team in the top 5 this week? Why wasn't our team in 6 through 10? Well, we do the best we can. There's a lot to work with. Here now, we present to you our top 5 plays of this week. Well, we start at Munn for number 5. Saturday night, Spartans hosting the Buckeyes. Great work from Ryan DeZingle, Alex Shahura, and freshman Tyler Lundy. That goal right there proved to be the game winner. Lundy would later add an empty netter to seal the deal in a 3-1 Buckeyes win. Play number 4, folks, is all about milestones. First in Alaska, Andy Toronto of the Nanooks with a nice snipe here to record his 100th career point in Alaska. Meanwhile, in South Bend, junior Anders Lee with his quick release with his 50th career goal in the Notre Dame victory Friday night over Lake State. Congratulations to both young men. To Lawson for number 3, Chase Balassi. Great skill set. He's a bit of a thief at times. Steals it right here from Northern goaltender Jared Careau and jams home the goal. Broncos took both games against the Wildcats with plays like that. Back to Alaska for play number 2 Saturday night. Nanooks in Miami, Austin Zarnik. This kid is something special. Great stretch pass ahead to Jimmy Mullen, who makes no mistake alone on a 4-0 win for Miami that night. Redhawks took 6 points this past weekend with some dynamite plays up there in the Great White North. Speaking of dynamite, number 1 this week, the hottest goaltender in the nation, folks. Ohio State's Brady Jelly flat out robs Brent Darnell on the breakaway. Jelly allowed just 1 goal in the 2 games at MSU, and he gets our number 1 play of the week. Well, it goes quick, folks, and our staff does a great job putting the show together. It's easy for me and a lot of fun to stand here and bring it to you each and every week. Hope you enjoyed version number 5 of CCHA Now. Remember, you can follow us as always, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and ccha.com. We're looking for you to come say hi to us on Friday night down at the Compton Family Ice Arena. We'll be shooting our show for next week on location there on Friday night. Enjoy the games. We'll see you next week, and we'll do it all over again right here with an all-new edition of CCHA Now.